Right. Okay. So, our speaker tonight is a financial coach, is a content creator, and an entrepreneur. Adnan Sani is a highly respected financial coach, content creator, and entrepreneur with substantial social media following, where he educates over 400,000 followers on financial literacy and investment strategies. He's known for his straightforward, actionable insight. Adnan has built a reputation as a go-to financial advisor and coach, especially in areas of personal finance, investment, and strategic business growth. Through his diverse business ventures, including a successful career in real estate and Airbnb management across multiple countries, Adnan has gained first-hand experience in financial planning, crisis management, and wealth creation. His journey has made him a powerful advocate for financial literacy as an essential leadership tool that enables individuals and businesses to make informed strategic decisions that lead to sustainable growth. In addition to his work as a coach and entrepreneur, Adnan is passionate about helping others recognize the value of financial literacy in achieving their personal and professional goals. Expertise in this area, combined with his dedication to empowering others, makes him a dynamic speaker and insightful leader in today's landscape. So, ladies and gentlemen, please do me a favor. If you could kindly mute as we bring on our speaker for tonight. I believe he has PowerPoint to share with us. I hope that he can share his slides with us as we introduce him. So, Adnan, if you are ready, we are also ready for you. I will look forward to an insightful edition of the Flex Connect tonight. Thank you very much. If you're ready, please take it over from here. So if you can hear me, Adnan. Okay, so I'm sure it's I can see him on. So let's just give him a couple of minutes as he shares the slides. In the meantime, enjoy this music.
When you cry, be sure to dry your eyes, 'cause better days are sure to come. When you smile, be sure to smile wide, and don't let them know that they have won. And when you walk with pride, don't show the hurt inside, because the pain will soon be done. And when you
So I see our speakers connected.
Hello?
Can you hear us, Adnan?
Yes, I can hear you now. Can you hear me?
Wonderful. Yes, I can hear you. I believe others can hear you too.
I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh,
Do you want to, are you going to share some slides?
yes, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I was trying to figure out how to.
That's okay. I saw it earlier on. I think you shared that successfully.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah,
I think,
I can see it. Yeah.
yes, it should be good now.
Yes. So, um, please, I'll encourage everyone connected to mute. When the question time comes, we'll allow you to ask your questions. For now, let's give our speaker our ears and our attention. So I previously introduced you. I hope you had introduction, but I've recorded introduction as well. So we are ready for you, sir. Please take us through
Okay,
what you
that
have
is
for
fine.
us.
Unfortunately, I wasn't able to hear, but thank you very much. I'm very happy to be here. I am, apart from my social media that I've always shared my message, this is actually the first time that I have the opportunity to share my message somewhere else. So I first of all want to thank you for the opportunity. And the topic that we are talking about today, which is financial literacy, is something that I hold very dear to my heart. It is something that I like because I've seen its importance in my life as it has changed my life at some point. So financial literacy is something that, every time that I get the chance to talk about, I actually don't hesitate. And today, the topic that we are going to talk about is financial literacy as a leadership tool. And for us to, first of all, the objective of the conversation is to understand how financial literacy is important in leadership. It's very important for us to understand. And this conversation is going to be in 3 parts. It means that we are first of all going to define what financial literacy is, the essential skills that you have to have so that you could be considered as somebody who is financially literate. And the third part of it is how you are able to apply it in real life. And for me, I've always believed that financial literacy is very, very important in leadership, because you will not be able to separate financial literacy from leadership. I have seen leaders who have been leaders without financial literacy, but I'm yet to see somebody who understands financial literacy who eventually didn't become a leader, because you cannot separate the two. If you are financially literate, what it means is that you understand how money works. Eventually, as you understand how money works, eventually you are going to be in a position that you have a lot of financial fortune, and you are going to seek the help of other people in order to run your business and everything. So anybody who understands financial literacy eventually is going to become a leader. And I could even say that one of the things that you could use, the most accurate predictor of whether a person will someday become a leader, is whether they are financially literate or not. So that is why I feel that the topic of leadership and financial literacy cannot be separated. Because when you separate leadership from financial literacy, then you put yourself in a position where you have a leader who could actually fail. But with financial literacy, there is actually no way around. You actually have to succeed as a leader. Now, since we agree that financial literacy is very important, we have to understand what it means, first of all, to be financially literate. What does financial literacy mean? If you don't understand financial literacy, then it becomes hard to see how it's going to affect you in your leadership. So that is why we have to, first of all, define financial literacy first. So, hello, you guys, can you hear me? Yes.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, great. So financial literacy, first of all, I'm going to try to define it, because it is something that I found that all the time that I've spoken about it, I see that in our part of the world, it is kind of new age. A lot of people don't understand what financial literacy means. So I'm going to try to define it and illustrate it so that even all the people who are watching here can have an idea of what financial literacy is and what it is not. So financial literacy is basically 3 things. The definition of financial literacy, it helps you, it is your ability to understand, 1, interpret, and make informed financial decisions. So it means that it is just not enough to understand, but you should be able to interpret and make informed financial decisions. Now, when I talk of understanding financial literacy, because a lot of people, you have people who actually, graduates who don't understand financial literacy. You have, even in our part of the world, people often use revenue and income interchangeably. It is acceptably used interchangeably, but there is a slight difference. And you have to understand this difference. So there is an illustration that I usually do with my followers that allows them to understand financial literacy that I'm going to do. And hopefully everybody who's watching this should understand it. So usually I use a bottle of water to illustrate what financial literacy is, so that you are able to grasp that concept. The difference between your revenue and your income, this is your revenue. It means that every single thing that comes into your pocket within the month is your revenue. Okay? Now, when you drink this, whatever is left in this is your income. So even when you look it up in Google, your revenue and your income is acceptably used interchangeably, but there is a difference. It is actually your income that is going to make you rich, not your revenue. Because your revenue is every single thing that comes in your pocket within the month. Whereas your income is what's left after what you have consumed. And this bottle, the illustration of this bottle allows you to understand everything around financial literacy. Because the key element of financial literacy that if you have as a leader, you can say that you understand financial literacy is that you have to understand budgeting. You have to understand cash flow. You have to understand investing. And you have to understand risk management. And of course, decision making. Now, I don't know if you are following, please. Hello, sir, Mr. Kisi. So with this illustration of the bottle, you understand that you are able to get budgeting inside it, because if all of my revenue is what I take every single month, when I drink less than what I make, I'm actually budgeting. So the bottle illustration shows you how you budget. The same bottle illustration shows you how cash flow works. Because if you drink less than you make, obviously you have cash flow. And the reason why I'm using this bottle to illustrate is that I want, because most of my followers are following this, so I want people to have an understanding of financial literacy first and how it affects leadership. By that extension, this same bottle lets you understand investing, because when you drink less than you make, whatever is left, eventually you invest it. It allows you even in decision making. So what we have to ask ourselves now is that, why is financial literacy essential for leaders? Why is it even important as a leader? If you understand financial literacy, why is it even important? So number one reason why understanding financial literacy is important is that it allows you to have a powerful decision-making process. It means that when you make decision, it's powerful. How does that happen? Because if an individual who understands financial literacy will become, that means that if in your life you apply financial literacy in your life, it means that as the leader of a group, you will apply financial literacy in that group as the leader of the group. If you understand financial literacy as an individual, it means that as the leader of a government, you will understand financial literacy. And however powerful that you are on any of these levels will depend on the individual's understanding of financial literacy, because after all of that is money. An individual, an organization, a government, all of it is money. All of that is how individuals handle their personal finance. So as somebody who is a financial coach who teaches people how to make money, who himself has applied financial literacy in the past, I decided that I was going to look at how how groups and governments apply financial literacy on that level. And for me, I'm being careful with this because I want it to be very, very well understood, because I did something very interesting that I'm going to share with you guys that you actually appreciate. So I looked at on the level of a government, because if me, somebody who gives financial advice, when somebody comes to me and I actually have to give them financial advice, what I do is that I need to know how much money they are making a month. I need to know how much money they are spending a month. And I need to know if they are owing any money at all. Excuse me. So sometimes what happens for the individual to not understand what is going on the level of organizations, on the level of government, is that the individual, because if as an individual, you receive money every end of the month, you know exactly how much you have received. You know exactly how much you have spent. You are able to understand your finances very easily. Now, on the level of a government, it is almost the same figures, except that it is on the level, it's on the macro level. So the figures that an individual would use, on the level of government or companies, it is huge. So it is difficult to explain this to somebody. So I decided to make, because I'm interested in Ghana and Nigeria. So as a financial code, I decided to make them individuals, human beings, to understand the level of decision-making that happens, or the level of financial literacy that is applied in the running of those two. So I made them a human being, and I assumed that if Ghana was a human being with a salary of 5,000 cedis, what financial advice would I give to Ghana as a country? So of course, this figure that you are looking at is the real figure, except that I have condensed it. So instead of having the country, maybe if the country's, whatever the country gets a month is maybe $1 million, I have condensed it so that an individual could understand it. So if Ghana had a salary of 5,000, what would be Ghana's expenses every single month? And the real expense of Ghana every single month, so I've tried to convert to Naira and also to dollar. So if Ghana made 5,000 cedis every single month, Ghana would actually spends, because these are real figures, just condensed. Ghana actually spends 6,000 cedis every single month. And as a financial coach, if I needed to give advice, okay, to somebody, if they come in front of me, this is what I'll be interested in. Then the next thing I'll be interested in is how much money do they owe? If Ghana's income was 5,000 cedis, it meant that their monthly income, Ghana's monthly income would be 6,000 cedis. And by that extension, the amount of money that they owe will be 240,000 cedis. That is about 48 times the amount of money that they make monthly, right? So I decided to do the same thing for Nigeria. And if Nigeria's monthly income was 5,000 cedis, its monthly expenses would be 7,500 cedis. That is more than 2,500 cedis, more than what they actually make every single month. And their total debt as an individual, if that country was treated as an individual, would be 180,000 cedis. Now, as a financial coach, when I see this, I know that if somebody should come in front of me with this exact figure, I know that that person is in trouble. But it is not the kind of trouble that you will not be able to find a solution to. Because there's been a time in my life when I owed more money than actually what these countries actually owed. There was a time in my life where I owed $100,000, and I was able to, with the application of financial literacy, I was able to recover from that point. So as an individual, and I can tell you that whatever it takes for an individual to get out of debt is the same thing that it takes for an organization to get out of debt. It is the same thing that it takes for a government to get out of debt. So most of our problems that we have in leadership, in companies and in countries, is not a problem of leadership, but it is a problem of financial literacy. And that is why I've gone through the trouble of bringing together these figures, condensing these figures for you to actually be able to understand as an individual, if these people, because if somebody comes to me with these very figures that I've shown for these countries, I will actually be able to give them financial advice based on their situation. An individual who understands financial literacy, if he manages a company that has these figures, he will be able to understand that if I am making this amount of money every single month, and I'm spending this amount of money every single month, there is a maneuver that I have to do. And one of the problems that we have in leadership is that, and I'm not saying that as an attack in all spheres of life, is that most leaders are appointed based on other criteria outside of financial literacy. And like I've said, it is very hard to find a leader who understands financial literacy who fails. But very often, you'll see a leader who doesn't understand financial literacy. So this is why I went through the trouble of actually condensing these figures to give you an idea of what it will be like for a country to be an individual and for you to give financial advice to that country. The second thing that financial literacy, if a leader understands financial literacy, the second thing that it does is that it gives you vision and sustainability. Okay, it allows leaders to think long-term. You see that leaders who understand financial literacy, they act differently from leaders who don't. Leaders who understand financial literacy, they pay attention, they are impatient in the micro. It means that things that they can do right today, that is going to augur well for them in the future, they prioritize those things. But leaders who don't understand financial literacy, they are impatient on the macro, things that maybe they could take to grow, things that certain kind of investments that they could do so that they could make advantage, you could take advantage of it in the future. They prefer to have it now. So very financially literate leaders, they pay more attention to the micro. They try to do everything right. It's like you going to the gym. You are going to be impatient with going to the gym every day, but you are going to be patient with having the muscles required in future. You are not going to instead be impatient to have the muscles today, but rather patient about going to the gym every day. So leaders who understand financial literacy, in the face of a decision, or if they have to take a decision, what they do is that they pause for a little and they actually think about it. What is it that I can do right now that in the long term is going to augur well for the company? That is one of the reasons why every leader needs to be financially educated. And that is why I've made it a personal, because I have seen in my life the advantage, the things that financial literacy has done for me, and I have made it a personal objective to ensure that I educate at least 10 million people about financial literacy because of its importance in leadership. So the key financial skills that every leader needs is that, because when you have these key skills, you can say that you are financially literate. As a leader, you should be able to know how to budget. Okay, you should understand budgeting and cash flow management. Budgeting and cash flow management is that as a leader, you should decide that what we are going to do is that, say what I give to my clients is that I advise my clients to always keep at least 10% of their net worth in cash. Keep 10% of your net worth in cash. Once you keep 10% of your net worth in cash, what it does is that it is a budgeting on its own. Because at the end of the month, you know that if you are low on cash, you know already ahead of time that the next month you are not going to invest. If you are high on cash, you know exactly the amount of money that you are going to invest the next month. Leaders need to understand this. Most people, their understanding of budgeting and cash flow management is that every single time that you have money, you have to go out and spend it, which is wrong. That is not how you do it. You have to know exactly what you are doing. Also, a leader should understand investing. Okay, there are a lot of investment tools. A leader should also understand investment. Learn every single thing that you need to know about leadership, because you can only, as a leader, say that you are financially educated if you understand what investment means. It is very important. Often, I encourage people that, well, that brings us to risk assessment and financial forecasting. If you are a leader who assesses risk, you will allocate your assets. That means you will decide that I'm not going to put all of my assets, maybe I'm not going to keep only cash. I'm not only going to invest everything in business. I'm not only going to invest in one domain. I'm not going to invest. It means that you are going to diversify your investment. Now, when I say this, because I'm an advocate of somebody who says every time that you should focus, and not, people don't understand when I say you have to diversify your investment. In fact, if you are doing something that brings you money, you can continue to focus on that business. That means you can continue to do that business every single time. But when that business brings you money, the investments that you need to invest in, those investments have to be diversified. So that in the event that your business does not work, or that you have some crisis, there's a lot of things that you could actually fall back on. So you should actually diversify your investments and focus your attention on one business. And that is risk management. Every leader who understands risk management, because most leaders, what do? They are looking for the place that works the best. Every time somebody says that this thing works, then they go and they start this business. This thing works, then they go and they start that business. Every single time that they hear that something works, they go and they start that business, which is not financially smart. It is better to concentrate on whatever you do that brings money, but diversify your investment. And that is the risk management that I'm talking about. So leaders actually need a lot of risk management, for financial forecasting. So one thing also that financially educated leaders use to distinguish themselves is that we can find that even in 2008, when there was the financial crisis, that was the time that separated the leaders who didn't understand financial literacy from those who did. And Starbucks is one of such examples, where at that time, everything was difficult for them. And their CEO decided that what he was going to do is that, because he understood financially, he understood things financially, he decided that he was going to actually close down all their branches that weren't very profitable and double down on the ones that were profitable. He decided, based on his financial knowledge, to take a course of action that helped his company. The same thing happened to me years ago when I had very, very little financial knowledge. I decided to run a loans business. I did everything, and I tried running the business without getting myself educated. I didn't consult or read from anything. I started a business because I wanted to. And it turns out that every single thing that I did was against financial literacy. And it was only when I started learning about financial literacy that things began to turn around. Because then I understood, because before then my idea of business was, once you get into business and you make money, you spend that money, and then you go back in business. Then you make money and you go back in business. You make money, you spend it, but the point of a business is actually to grow. If your aim is to do business to make money to spend it, then you might as well get a job. There's no point making money only to spend it. You might as well get a job. So it is very important for every leader to understand financial literacy. Now, now, how do you build financial literacy as a leader? As a leader, if you decide that you want to learn about financial literacy, you have to learn to read. Reading is very important. And the reason reading is very important is that every single problem that you are going through right now as an entrepreneur, somebody else has already gone through that problem many times over, because entrepreneurship is not new. People have gone into business. People have tried businesses and failed. Most of them have put their experiences in the form of books. And I had been to the university, I had studied and everything, but I didn't even understand how money worked. I studied economics, I did things, but the first time I understood financial literacy was when a friend introduced me to a book by Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad Poor Dad. It was not until I read Rich Dad Poor Dad that I even understood the concept of financial literacy. Because what you learn in school is good. It is well-intentioned. The point of the things that you learn in school is to get you to, because of course, everybody cannot start a business. Everybody cannot be in business. So eventually, even if we all decide that we are going to be financial literate and start a business, who is going to work? Who is going to do the work? So the point of reading, not trying to read outside of school or read materials that contribute to your financial literacy, is that what you have learned in school is not going to be enough. And when you discover financial literacy, you see that every single thing about financial literacy is different. So it is important to read books so that you can, expand your knowledge about financial literacy. Also, another thing that you have to do is that you have to join groups where people talk about financial literacy. You have to manipulate yourself on social media, because every single thing that you feed on, your social media feed actually feeds you with it. So what you need to do is to follow a lot of groups that talk about financial literacy, because ultimately, financial literacy is what is going to change your life. It is what governs money is what governs our lives. So we might pretend not take it seriously, but it is something that actually affects our lives. So you might want to join a lot of groups on social media so that you can educate yourself financially. Also, another thing that you can use to learn is artificial intelligence. Today, artificial intelligence is here, and one of the things that I see that you can do with artificial intelligence is that today you don't necessarily need a financial coach like that. Yes, ultimately you might want to talk to a human being, but you could actually give artificial intelligence a prompt. You could actually ask artificial intelligence that I want you to act as my financial coach. Ask me questions until you understand my financial situation. And once you understand that, give me advice based on my financial situation. And you are going to be surprised by the amount of information that artificial intelligence is going to give you. So today, most of the problems that you are struggling with in business, you are able to find, the answers by through artificial intelligence. So, Mr. Kisi, that is the end of my slide, and I want to thank you for the attention. I hope that I haven't taken a lot of time. Hello.
Thank you very much, Adnan. Thank you so much. That is very insightful. I think that most people agree with me that they would want more.
Really? Wow. That's I got the impression that okay, was it your camera that was open?
No. So let me get my camera on now.
Okay, so I'm also live on TikTok. So those who have my TikTok, I'm also live on TikTok, and yeah.
Yes, but so for now we'll take questions, but when we at the end of the session we'll discuss what next because we
Okay.
definitely need to know what next. Anyway,
Okay.
so thank you very much for that powerful and insightful presentation. That was so powerful, and
Uh,
I saw someone also write to back me up because you know as we were going on, I was really getting deeper and getting deeper understanding and getting into it.
mm,
And yeah, so
mm.
definitely we would want to have you back, and I'm sure everyone
Yes.
connected would
Yes.
agree. So, okay, someone's asking about recording. Yes, we are recording this, and if everybody is agreeing with me, Adnan. But for
Mm,
now, let's take some questions. Let's take some questions.
mm.
Somebody wants to know your TikTok account. I'm sure he will share all of that before
Yeah.
he
So
leaves.
my TikTok is Adnan Sani. Adnan Sani Dangote on TikTok.
Sure. So for now, let me say a big
Yes.
thank you once again. Very insightful,
Right.
very simple, well laid out and everything.
Mm.
Thank you so much. Let's take
Thank
some
you.
questions. If you have questions, you can raise your hand using the relevant button. You can
Mm.
also unmute and ask a question. You can text it, put it in the text box, read it out, and Adnan would respond to you. Um, in the meantime, yes, in the meantime, we would, uh, I'm sure Adnan will share with us the presentation, the slides
Yes.
that we'll put on the Flex Connect
My
platform.
slide doesn't have a lot of photos because I just learned to do this, so I'm so sorry. I'm sure
No
next
worries,
time
no,
I'll.
no, no
Yes.
worries at all. We have some great guys in Flex who can help with that
Oh,
aspect
okay.
as well. Yes, so
All right.
don't worry about
Mm,
that at all.
mm,
So please, any questions, any comments, any
mm.
observations, any contribution, we all. So now this time is very interactive. Our audiences at Flex Connect are very interactive. They ask a lot of questions. They contribute a
Oh,
lot
okay.
as well. And trust me, you will have a very interactive
Mm.
session this evening. So I see
Wow.
something you have unmuted. You have a question? Anyone has a
Am
question? Yes, go ahead. Okay, something is muted now. Anyone has a question? Okay, question on the platform on the chat box.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh, no, I just joined, dog.
Okay. You're
Yes, I
welcome,
just
Samson.
joined.
You've missed
Thank
a
you.
lot. You've missed a
Please, I
lot,
have a question.
Samson. Yes, go ahead.
Okay.
Please introduce
Please,
yourself. You didn't sign in with your name, so I can only see Samsung. Please go ahead.
sure. I'm Samuel Nate.
Yes, thank you. Go ahead.
Okay, please, you work with a boss who doesn't have much of financial literacy
Yes.
knowledge, and let's say you are the second in command.
Mm,
This boss does things the way he understands, the way
mm.
he feels is good, and looking at it, you think it will not help. But better still, when you suggest for him, he doesn't take. How best can you handle such a situation? Thank you.
Mm. So if you there's a book about the rules of power. One of the rules they say is that you should never outshine the master. So as much as you think that you understand things about financial literacy than him, if he doesn't want to understand it and you have tried, I don't know if you have tried to talk to him and he doesn't, you shouldn't try to show him, because after all, he has created a business and he has brought you. So if anything at all, you can, gently, inform him, gently advise him to see if he's able to change things. But as you continue, because you are not also, it is good that you work. I don't know where you work, how long you've been working, but eventually you want to be in a place where you are also able to create something for yourself. So you can continue to learn, apply it. I've spoken about a strategy called the 80-20 principle, where you give 80% of your attention to your job and use 20% of your attention to look elsewhere, to try something new. Because the mistake you don't want to make is to have yourself, as much as I preach the message of focus. I say that you don't want to make the mistake of giving 100% all of your attention to something that maybe is not going to see the light of the day. So 20% of your attention, you could actually use it to explore, to start some side businesses, things that don't need your attention as much. At some point, you may decide that, of course, in the best interest of everybody, because I'm sure even your boss wants your well-being, assume, if he's a good boss, right? Eventually, if at the time that you decide to leave, hello? So eventually, you decide to leave that work if that side hustle that you are doing begins to make you money as much as the one that you are giving your 80% to. So if 80% of your attention, if 20% of your attention can give you as much money as 80% of your attention, then it is time to switch. But for now, my advice is that you should continue, especially if it's a job that you think that is good for you. And frankly, after all, you are in for, yes, it's true that you are being paid a salary and everything. If you are talking to your boss and he doesn't want to listen, I think that you should be patient, but you have to think of a way. I've written a book about this very, I've written a book called The World GPS, okay, where it explains to you, it shows you, it leads you when you are, if you have a job, that you are working in a job, what you need to do and everything. So I don't think this Zoom call is enough for us to to digest it, but that is what I just told you is what you should pay attention to. I don't know if I've answered your question.
Sure. You've done that. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Let me be a bit brief. The issue is that we work with an NGO. Okay, so the boss feels like the money that comes is not our hard-earned money, so we should just use it anyhow. He just wakes up and try to use it anyhow. Excuse me for the word, but even things that are not budgeted for, he would like to use the funds on it. And when you say it becomes, but I've taken your advice. It's very good. I will still work on it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much. I saw another hand up. Okay, I think, but there are also questions here. So we have here for Sunny to you, says, what if you don't like to read like most Ghanaians? What do you do?
So I don't like to read either. But today we are lucky, we are very lucky that we live in an age like this is perhaps the best time to be alive. Today, almost every book in the world you can find is audio book on YouTube. So when you are driving, instead of listening to music, when you are driving, you can just turn an audio book on. I use audiobooks to sleep. Once you want to sleep, it makes me sleep. So you can just, go to bed maybe very early, open an audiobook. You don't actually have to read. A lot of things that you do in your life, in Ghana, there's a lot of traffic. You can be stuck in traffic and you can listen to an audiobook. So today you don't have to really read a book like that. Also, you can also find a lot of podcasts, today you don't have to attend a seminar. You can just go on YouTube and you can type a seminar and you can get the best quality seminars to listen to online. So yes, it's true that we continue to say books because that is what we know. But there's a lot of, even books, there's a lot of ways you can have a book read to you. So I don't know if you have explored that option, but it's true that it is hard to sit down and read a book right now, but you can always use audiobooks.
Yeah, thank you very much. So we explore other ways of overcoming weaknesses. Okay, we'll do one question and then one text. So Dole, please go ahead and ask your question. I see your hand up.
Yeah, thank you very much, Albert.
Thank you, Doc, and thank you, Mr. Presenter. Very beautiful, good and insightful business advice, business lecture, business investment techniques. Now, my question is, My question is based on the gentleman that just spoke about his experience with the boss and the
Yes.
fact that the company is an NGO. I
Yes.
want a clear demarcation between if you want to make money, because in the first place, everybody is in the business of what? Trying to be financially independent or
Yes.
trying to rise up in the financial ladder.
Yes.
So what is a clear demarcation between the fact of having your own business and having an NGO, and how you can spend your business money, reinvest, or NGO money, reinvest, and the profitability between the two, or the clear demarcation. Can you tell me something about that?
Yeah, so you are in business for money. You don't have to lie to yourself. You have to be very straightforward about what you like in what you are in for. You are in because of money. So the thing that you have to optimize for is the fact that you are able.
Why a conference?
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, hello. Can you hear me?
Yeah, please go ahead. Yeah,
yes, so it's true that you have your goals, but at the end of the day, you are in business for money. Money is going to affect your life more than you think. Pretty much everything that you need in your life, it's about money. So for you to decide that, if it is something that makes you happy, it is something that and you are not, I don't know if I've answered your question, if that is the question, if you should always consider money or not. So I think that you should find a middle ground that you find that it is suitable for you. Like, how much money do you need to get? Because of course, money is numbers, right? And numbers are infinite.
No,
So
my point here is the difference between heading the NGO, as this gentleman is heading an NGO, and the money the people was not happy with it. But maybe this NGO is his company, it's for him. He started it. But the way he used the money, the deputy is not happy with it. So what's the clear demarcation between an NGO and a self-business and the power to use the money that comes in?
No, I think that they actually have to have a conversation. It's something that he needs to have a conversation with the person. They have to sit down because they are all running the business together. So if something is happening that he's not happy about, they have to have a sit down and talk about it.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so I see Charity, please. Charity, please go ahead and ask your question.
Okay, thank you very much for the presentation. Okay, I have two questions. And the first one is, I think there is a gender bias when it comes to the field of business. Because we females, when we want to start a business, we suffer a lot with artisans, with workers. So in that regard, I want to find out if maybe as a female, when you want to start a business, do you need a mentor to guide you through, or how do we go about it? That is my first question. And then my second question is about the diversification that you talked about. I've seen people who started a business and then in 2 years, 3 years, they start diversifying and then everything collapses at once. What is it that they did wrong that caused that? Thank you.
So I'm just going to take the last question head on. So the reason most businesses fail is that owners of businesses are very much in a hurry to diversify. Okay, and the only people who can diversify a business successfully are people who are already rich. And even those people, when they diversify their businesses, they just don't diversify. You are not going to find Dangote in Ghana calling people and asking them, has the customer received the money? Has the customer received the product? He's not doing that. The excuses people use to diversify their business very early is that, but after all these rich people, they are into, I think my life has stopped. So all these rich people, they are into, they are into a lot of business. They have a lot of businesses. And poor people or people who have just started business, maybe 3-4 years, they believe that because they've seen Dangote running a lot of companies, they can also do that. Most of these people, those companies are passive investments. It means that before Dangote will open a company, he has a team. Most of those people, they ask people to take care of them. They handle things passively. Okay, so when Dangote creates a business, it is not a business. When you are running a business and you go to create another business, it's a business for you because you have to be actively involved in the running of those businesses. But Dangote doesn't do that. When he creates a business, he has people who are handling the affairs of that business, and he just looks at the numbers. So the problem, the mistake a lot of people make is that we are very quick to diversify. And if you take pretty much any business, you can make every single business $1 million business. There's pretty much every, even if you are a hairdresser, you could actually make hairdressing $1 million business. So the question I always ask people, like when, even I am tempted all the time to diversify. I'm like every now and then I get a business that is so good that I wish I could do it myself, like do it actively. But the question I ask myself every time is that, is it that your business is failing? If you're already involved in something that works, why do you need to change it? Ride it until the wheels, because it is working, right? The thing, and then if a business does well, and the thank you that you say to that business is to take its money and start another business, that is something very wrong. Every single person who has made money in business early on in their life have stuck to one business. Every single person. You will never meet a rich person who diversified very early on in their career. Most rich people, they do one business, and when they get to a point where they have so much money, they've achieved financial freedom, where they have, in fact, more money coming in than they will actually need. You don't leave that money sitting at the bank. If you invest that money, maybe in boring investments like treasury, it doesn't grow as much. So what do? They identify maybe a business that they depend on, that they buy things from, and they create that business to be able to feed their business. So that is the mistake that a lot of young people make, is that we diversify too early, and nobody. And then you find on the internet, people are preaching, streams of income. You have to have several streams of it. It doesn't work. It's just you, because even your attention has a compound effect. If you give your attention to a lot of things, then you are not going to become a master at anything. But for every single business that you have, provided that business works, if that business does not work, find something else and do. But so long as you have a business that works, there's no need to go. Instead, think of how you are going to grow that business. Your second question also was that as a lady, I didn't get, you said as a lady. Hello?
I think she was talking. Okay, go ahead, Charity.
Yes, I was talking about gender bias when it comes to business. Yes, because personally, what I've gone through, the experience I had when I wanted to start a business is what I'm sharing. So in that, as a lady, do you need a mentor from the start? Because sometimes you take people as mentors and even they come to spoil everything for you, and they also come and cheat you and go away. So I just want to find out how we go about that as females. Thank you.
So I believe that man or woman, at some point, everybody needs a mentor to work with. Everybody needs somebody to show you the way. You could start it on your own, but the nature of business is that business is just like any other thing. You are able to talk today because at some point you learned how to talk, and you must have mispronounced words, and your parents must have, put you in shape and like everything until today you are able to talk. Pretty much everything that you are doing, there's a learning curve. And the only price of success is failure. So everything that you are going to succeed in, you have to have failed in it once or twice. Then you master that thing. So once you start a business is bound to fail. You could try a business. Most people have been lucky to start their first business and then it just kicks off. But that is maybe perhaps 1% of all people who have ever started businesses. Okay, maybe that is 1% of people who have started businesses. For most people, your first business is always going to fail. So it is important for you to find a mentor, preferably. Find somebody who's running a small business. you are more likely going to learn in a small business than a big one, because in a big one, you don't even have the time to even work with, you don't even understand how the business operates. But if you work in a small company where you are able to get close to the owners, and you can be very honest with them, you don't have to be all creepy and try to, steal information for them. You can just be all honest about it. I want to come and work here to learn. And most of the time, I don't want to prolong this conversation, but I always say that most successful business people, as contrary to what people think, most successful business people are honest people. Anybody who has succeeded legitimately in business is an honest person. Because what it takes for a business to grow is for the owner to be ready to give more value to the customers than normal. That's the only way you can grow a business. It means you are ready to give more value to your customers, you are ready to give more value to your employees, and you are ready to give more value to your partners. So for somebody to have succeeded in business that long, most of the time, so anybody who becomes even a crook after becoming rich, maybe at some point they decided to become a crook. But for the most part, anybody, because if you are not honest, the system itself will push you out. Because that is what business is. You give value in exchange for money. If people don't feel that you give them value, then they stop even coming back to you, and you can't grow your business. You'll be stuck in one place. So find somebody who's been able to grow a business. You've seen the track record that they've been able to grow a small business too. And then, of course, something that you can find proof to that they have been able to grow a business. When you work with such a person, most of the time, if they own a small business, most of the time is going to be to be good. But man or woman, I think everybody at some point needs a mentor.
Thank you very much.
You are welcome, Charity.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Adnan. So we have a few questions on in the textbooks. How do you get out of debt?
Wow, this is I've made a video about it. Perhaps you can check it on TikTok or YouTube. There is a process, because every single thing that you do in life, you need a strategy. When you eat food, every single time that you eat food, you have a particular strategy that you go about it. You take it and then you introduce it to your mouth. Every single time that you come in front of food, you don't, maybe sometimes you toss it up and eat, or sometimes you rub your face with it. You always have a particular strategy. You hold it and you introduce it to your mouth. We do that for a particular reason. Every single thing that we do in life, we do with a strategy. So when it comes to debt payment, you also have to find a strategy. And I have proposed a 3-stage concept of paying back debt. And I've made an entire video about it. You have to, first of all, depending on what you do, if you are in business, you have to divide your profits into 3. And if you are maybe somebody who's a salary, if you have a salary, then it means that you have to force yourself to spend less. But that is even much difficult. Frankly, if you're in debt that you have a salary, it is very difficult. But even that is possible. It means that you have to force yourself to spend less. Whatever is left after your monthly upkeep should be divided into 3. 3. Every single month, you have to use a third of it to pay back your debts. Okay? You have to keep a third of it for life as savings. Sometimes maybe if you're in a country where maybe there's devaluation of currency on it, maybe you can put it inside something that keeps value over time. But that money doesn't belong to you. And then the third one, you actually reinvest it back into where the money came from. Because if you started a business, because if you are in debt and then you started a business and the business is working, you have to speak to people, the people who have given you the debt. You have to find a way. Let them understand the honesty that the money they have given to you doesn't exist anymore, and that you are going to do your best to pay them. Give them a payment plan. Let them understand, listen, because I have an idea of how much you are making a month. You give them a promise. Every single month, I'm going to pay you this amount of money. I'm going to pay you this amount of money. And based on that, you are able to calculate how long it's going to take for you to pay this money. Now, if you are owing a lot of people, you have to use a strategy called the snowball method. The snowball method is arranging all your debts from one, like the smallest one on top, the biggest one below. and then you start paying the smallest one first. Once you pay off the smallest one, it gives you the confidence to attack the second. Then the confidence, because what the mistake a lot of people make is that they say, no, I'm going to pay off the one that has the biggest interest first. But that is a rational way of thinking about it. But you as a human being, you actually need confidence. You need to feel a sense of progress. And the only thing that makes you feel a sense of progress is when you keep eradicating your debt at a faster pace. Because if you choose to pay the one with the biggest interest rate, it means that it could actually take you so many years to pay it, and you end up discouraging yourself. So organize your debts in an order, a snowball method. They call the snowball because the more you go, the more it amasses weight, it gathers weight. If you pay the first one first, it gives you the energy and the added resources to pay for the second one. When you pay for the second one, it gives you the added energy to pay for the third one. And, you know, that way. So I've made a video about it. Later, if you want, after this video, you can go and you can perhaps find it on YouTube or on my TikTok or Facebook. I don't know if I've answered your question.
Thank you very much. What about also if you negotiate and maybe pay less than what you actually owe? I don't know if it's something that is feasible in our context.
Yes, but it's an ethical problem, because I believe that, frankly, everybody's money is their resources. Everybody's money is their hard-earned labor. That is because that is what money is. Money is a conversion of your labor. That means when you have money, it's actually what you've worked for. So somebody to use their energy to work for money, and then you take it from them, and later you can. It's true. We can understand that you're having difficulties. But when you tell the person that you want to pay less than what you have borrowed, it doesn't appear ethical. However, what you can do is that you can ask for more time to pay them back. Otherwise, you put yourself in a position where, because I was in a point where I owed people $100,000. I had started a loans business, and with my money, it worked. I got excited. I took other people's money. I threw it inside, and it also got swallowed in that process. So I lost my money and I lost other people's money. And one of the things that helped me a lot was that I was upfront with these people. I told them the truth. Listen, Sikanashi, the money is gone. So I'm going to find a way to pay you back, but I want you to give me time. Today, the fact that I paid those people the exact amount of money they gave me, even I continue to pay most of them interest. The fact that I gave them the same amount of money that I took from them, I believe that somewhere in the future, and at some point, everybody needs financing, everybody needs investors and stuff. At some point in life, if I should ever need investors, I hope it doesn't get to that. But I think that I can always get back to those people and I can ask them, and because in the past it went well, so you want to build your reputation going forward. And if somebody lends you money and you don't pay all, it's going to be hard for them to want to lend money to you in the future. So that's why it is a good strategy, but I feel it's going to affect your future self if you go along that line. But you could actually ask for more time to pay.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much. I guess when it comes to individual to individual, one person to person, perhaps with person to bank, it could be a different approach. Would you say the same if you owe the bank and you're struggling?
Yes. With a bank, it is a lot more difficult, because then it will depend on whoever is in charge and who you have to see. Every bank have their mates. So with a bank, yes, hopefully it's not a bank. With a bank, it can be a lot more difficult, because mostly, well, banks, some of them would have. With banks, honestly, because my situation, I speak very much to my experience. And with my situation, I owed a group of individuals. So with the maneuver I went around, that it was different. With a bank, I can understand if it's a lot more difficult than an individual. But I'm sure even with that, there's a way. I mean, you because every bank and how they would handle things. So if you can somehow, sit down with them, I'm sure that every person is reasonable, and you can find a solution.
Yeah, good. So we have quite a number of questions to go through before it's 8:30. So the first, well, I'll go on to the next one. Can you please explain the difference between savings and investment? And what do you recommend? Do you recommend investment or recommend savings?
So yes. So I'll recommend savings. Investment any day. But all along, I've always been against savings. Kind of. I'm not anymore. But I understand that I don't even have to. So the difference between savings is you having money, like I explained with the water bottle, you drinking whatever is left. So whatever is left after what you have consumed is savings. And most people think that savings is just something that you have to keep at home. Like you just have to keep money at home, especially from the part of the world that we are. It is not it is not the best. The best thing to do is to invest money. And there are two types of people. We have the savers and the investors. All my life, I've actually always been an investor. It means that every time money came to me, because I read Rich Dad Poor Dad, I felt, no, how do I take this money out for it to bring me more? So I was 100% investor without savings, which is wrong. I have a friend of mine who is 100% saver without, he would invest, he would save everything that he has. But I found a solution for this. A solution for this, to whether to save or invest, would just be to accept that you want to have a percentage of your income in cash. So if you are not somebody who is very rich, you can do it 20%. As you begin to make money, you can make it 10%. So that savings and investment will happen on its own. Such that if at the end of the month, I do my calculations and I see that maybe 10% of my net worth is supposed to be kept in cash, and I do that and I see that 10% of my net worth is, let's say, 1,000 cedis, and I see that I have less than 1,000 cedis in the bank or cash at home, it means that the next month I should not invest. I should bring up my cash balance up. It means that naturally I become a saver within that month. Now, if at the end of the month I do my calculations, I see that maybe my net worth, 10% of my net worth is 1,000 cedis, and I see that, oh, in the bank I actually have 2,000 cedis in the bank. It means naturally I have to, that month I become an investor, because I have to get rid of the additional amount. So that's having asset allocation solves the problem of whether you should save or invest. Yes. I don't know if you got it.
So in a nutshell, your savings is basically looking at your liquidity. I mean, like having some cash in hand, easy access, cash that you can easily access when you need it.
And investment is cash that has gone out to bring you more cash. So savings ensures that you are safe. You are playing safe. You are not, it saves you. You can think of it, saving saves you. It's just cash sitting down, not doing anything. Investment is money that goes out to look for more money for you. In that doing, that money can go and actually get lost in the process. So that is why investment is riskier compared to savings. But you cannot make money. You can't make money through just saving. It is harder, especially in our part of the world, where the money loses value every now and then.
Yeah, I hope that helps, Kofi. So then we also have, with high inflation and exchange rate fluctuations, do you advise long-term investment in Ghana? Yes or no? And if yes, why? If no, why?
So it depends. It depends on the sector. It depends on the money that comes out for every investment, because every investment doesn't actually have the same returns. So every investment that you are doing should actually make you money more than the rate of inflation. So if the rate of inflation is 12% in Ghana, and you make an investment in Ghana, and then you have an investment in Ghana or a business in Ghana, that business should make you more than 12% a year. And this thing, I actually say that a lot of people think that they are in business, when in actual fact, business is in them. Okay, because every single business that you should do should give you more than 8%, 10% a year. Because your money on its own, if you just go and then deposit it in an index fund, Your money on its own will make you 10% a year without you having to do anything. But for you to now use your money to invest in your business and then use your energy to put in a business, and that business ends up giving you less than the 12% a year, it means that you have actually wasted your energy. You just could have left the money sitting down in an index fund somewhere, right? So that you could go and rest at the end of the year. You have, I hope I didn't make a mistake. Did I say 10% a month? Please, I meant 10% a year. Sorry if I said 10% a month. I meant 10%. Every business should actually give you more than 10% a year. If a business doesn't give you more than 10% a year, it means that you are better off investing that money in an index fund, because averagely, an index fund would give you 10% a year averagely over time. Since index funds have existed, that is what they have always done. They will give you averagely more than 10% a year. So every business, if you are doing it anywhere, should be able to give you more than 10%. But especially in Ghana, you have to know the rate of inflation, and your business should actually beat it. Otherwise, you are just, working for nothing.
Thank you very much, Adnan. So I would invite those who want to ask their question as opposed to putting it in the text. I see Michael, Leo, Michael, Amidoji. Please go ahead and ask your question.
Thank you very much. My question is,
Yes.
I'm into transport business, and I just started this year, and everything is moving on by God's grace.
Yes.
Please
Hello? Hello?
unmute and carry on with your question. I think we've lost him. Michael, you are muted.
Idris, thank you.
Yeah,
Hello?
Michael is muted. Yes, Michael, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, Amidoji. No, Amidoji, you are muted. Okay, let's whilst we wait for him to unmute and come on. Oppo, I see Oppo. Oppo, do you want to ask your question, please?
Yes, thank you so much, Mr. Sani.
Yes, welcome.
For a great insight. You've answered some of my questions already. This is Fred Asobo from Johannesburg, South Africa.
Okay.
Yes. I want you to shed more light concerning diversification. You did mention it already, but I want to find out if you have established the business and the business is working already, then you said it will require more of your time to establish another business if you want to diversify. So what I want to find out is, because from your analogy, from the water bottle, you talk of your revenue and your income.
Yes.
And you said you can't really build wealth if you don't have enough income that is coming in after your revenue.
Yes.
Yeah. So what I want to ask is, when we talk of passive income, if you have an established business, can you not go now to use the funds that are coming from the business, from your income after your revenue, to invest in passive income like stock exchange, and other like real estate and other opportunities?
100%. What you are saying is exactly what is recommended. Passive income. That is the key. Passive income. If you are the money that you are making from your business should be invested. So when I say don't, you have to focus. Don't invest in other business. People think that I'm against, like, don't invest in other business. So long as it's passive, so long as that business can be run without your interference, so long as that business can be run without you having to get involved, then that is passive income.
Okay,
so it is passive. So once the thing you are investing is passive, then you actually have. And how do you know it's passive? It's passive if you don't have to get actively involved in it. If at the end of the month it pays without you having to say anything, then it is passive. But if you have to be walking around chasing people for money, then it is not passive. It means that wherever that money you got to start that business, if you give that attention to that business, every other business you can always grow. There's no business in the world you cannot grow. So you could actually use that time to grow your business to actually make more money.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Okay. Yeah, hello.
Yes.
Okay, Michael, go ahead. Thank you very much, Oppo, for that question.
Thank you,
Michael,
sir.
go ahead.
My question
Okay.
for those
Okay.
of us who run skill-based businesses like graphic designing and website designing, you know, it's another thing doing the business of the skill, that is doing the job. And it's another thing negotiating or doing the financial aspect. And it's also another thing talking to clients. Businesses like this are mostly run effectively if different parties are performing these things. Like one person is just doing the graphic design, one person is focusing on the finance, and one person is focusing on getting customers. For those of us who are startups, is it good for us to look for somebody to manage the finance aspect, or how do we go about it?
It is important to know at what stage your business is at. I saw business at a stage where you can bring in one person and still be able to make, that means that said that you can make enough money to be able to still bring in somebody and leverage their impact on your business. It means that your business, you have started your business is still small. It hasn't got to the day you brought a lot of people. The people that you have brought in your business, the roles that they are actually playing is that you have to end up paying them. And their presence in that business doesn't allow you to leverage on your competence. So when you start a graphic designer business, usually you have started it either because you are a great graphic designer or because you understand how money works and you have decided that the business you want to start is graphic designing, or you just understand how to network and you know that you could get a lot of customers for that. What is the reason why you started that business? And if you start a business, in the beginning, it is wrong for you on the first day to have somebody who handles finances for somebody. So when you start it, you are going to perform all those roles you have just mentioned yourself. Which one is your strength? Does bringing in somebody at some point, does it allow you to leverage what you are competent in? And what you are competent in, if you double down on it, does it increase the financial fortunes of the business? If that answer is no, then there's no need for you to bring somebody. But if maybe you were a graphic designer and what you understand very much is graphic designing, and you know that if I bring in Mr. A to take care of finances for me, I could double down on the graphic designing, and it could maybe 10 times, maybe the output that it will have on the business will even be 10 times, not even twice, maybe it's 10 times. You know that, look, if I could dedicate all my time to only graphic designing, I could make them 10 times, I could increase my income by 10 times. In that case, it will make sense to bring somebody, even if it means the person that you are bringing, you are giving all of your 100% now to that person, and it allows you to 800% your business. Then in that case, it will make sense to bring somebody. Otherwise, it just doesn't make sense to still make the same and bring somebody, and then now you are giving to the person in the name of growing your business. You are not actually growing your business. You just employed more people.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. So I see, I'm just going to go by the order that I see this on my screen, and then that will be the final set of questions. Then we could bring this to a close. I see Asubo. I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing the name right. I see Shiru Abdul Latif. I see Yate. And finally, Paulina. So please, you would mute until you have to speak. So it's going to be in that order. These are the final set of questions that we'll take. Please just take note, no more questions. So Asubo first, Nashiru second, Yate third, and then finally Paulina. We'll just take this last one, then we'll wrap up today's session. Thank you very much. So go ahead, Asubo.
Thank you, sir. My questions were answered already. It was me that my name was Oppo. It was showing the name of my phone. Thank you so much.
Okay, you're welcome.
Okay,
Thanks.
thank you. Thank you. Nashiru, please.
Okay. Please.
Go ahead, Nashiru.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, good
Mr.
evening.
Kadana. Yeah. Hello. Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah. Thank you for the opportunity, and we are grateful for organizing this program. My question. I don't know how to put it, but in the past, okay, I work for a financial institution in Ghana, okay.
Yes.
And in the past, I tried setting up a venture, but
Yes.
unfortunately, it didn't work. Part of the reason why it didn't work was the fact that I was an absentee owner or founder of the business, and the person I ceded the running of the business to at some point couldn't continue because the person had to go to school. Okay, so and ever since it has been very difficult for me to see that I want to start a venture. Each time I ponder about starting a venture, I am hit with the trying to start one that didn't to handle the business while still working, and it always encourages me to start. So I want to find out from Mr. Adnan.
Hello, I think your line is breaking a little bit.
It's time.
Yeah, the network is bad.
The network is bad.
Sorry.
Nashiru, can you do us a favor and type your question?
Okay, so I was
better. Yeah, better now. Go on. Go on,
okay,
Nashiru.
so I wanted to find out.
No, but we can hear him now.
How does one? So how does one transition from, being a worker to become maybe a full-time business owner? It's always something that I'm always thinking about, and I'm lost of ideas how to transition.
All right. So I think that maybe you just joined later because I did speak about this a bit. So I'm just going to make it very quick. The thing is that almost every business that you are involved in, if you are involved in something, the mistake that people make is that you are inside a business, then you listen to somebody talk about financial literacy and you ditch your job. You say, no, tomorrow I'm going to start a business, and you leave it. I think that that's wrong, because at the end of the day, somebody is going to have to pay the bills. At the end of the day, you have to pay the bills. At the end of the day, you are going to eat. It has to be paid for. So I think that you have to be more strategic about it. So you don't just wake up one day and you say you are going to quit your job. You have to be strategic. Try to give, because that is the thing that fits you. Try to give, use that 80-20 principle. Try to give 80% of your attention to whatever fits you, which is your job. And try to use that 20% at your free time to explore. Try to do other businesses. Try to, to start something slowly, so that eventually, if that side business that you are doing, which is going to be hard, and one thing is sure, if you are going to change your life, the beginning is always going to be hardest in everything that you do. So that is actually the hardest thing that you ever do. Have a job, be involved in your job, and have to start a side business on the side. But eventually, the time that you realize that you have to actually leave your business is if the money that you are making from the side hustle begins to match the money that you are receiving as salary from your employee. At that point, it means that logically, 20% of your attention is giving you as much as 80% of your attention, and there's not even a match. There's not even a debate when it comes to that. It means that if you could give more than 20% of your attention, you could make more. At that point, you are falling back to something. It means that you don't actually have to degrade. You don't have to come down, below the lifestyle that you are used to with your salary, and you can pick it from there. It is hard, but it is possible. I've written also a book. I have explained this extensively in a book called The Wealth GPS. You can find it on Amazon. You can also find it there's on the link in my profile. So it is possible to do that.
Yes, it is possible.
Yes.
So move on to the next question, Yate, please. Yate, if you can hear me, please ask your question.
Greetings, sir.
You're muted. Is this Yate?
No, it's Tapel. I've been raising my hand, I think, for the last 20 minutes, but I was not
I see.
acknowledged.
Sorry, I didn't see your hand up. Maybe it didn't work. Maybe the button didn't work for you. Go ahead, please. Go ahead.
All right. Thank you very much for the opportunity. Mr. Sally, thank you very much for sharing a great insight. It's Tapelo, all the way from the Free State in South Africa. So what I wanted, I heard that you have an account on YouTube. If maybe by the end of the conversation, if you can just maybe share the links with us for social media, TikTok, Facebook, so then we can be able to follow the conversation forward. And I would love to say thank you very much for opening our eyes and being a great model.
You're welcome. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for those kind words.
So with regards to the social media handles, I honestly don't know how to share them on Zoom, but you can find it on all platforms. Adnan Sani. I've added Dangote as well. Adnan Sani Dangote. Most of Facebook is Adnan Sani. TikTok Adnan Sani Dangote. Pretty much every other place is Adnan Sani Dangote. So I don't know if I have to write it.
You can, okay, you don't have my WhatsApp number. Otherwise, you could send it to me. I could paste it on the chat box right now. Okay. But we also have a platform. Let me just make this quick announcement. So the next Flex Connect session will be on the 24th of November. I'll be having discussions with Mr. Adnan, whether will be available to continue this. If not, I'm sure we'll have him another time. But the next session will be 24th of November. I'll put on there a link to join the Flex Connect platform where the video from today's session and any other materials that Mr. Adnan would like to share with us will be put as well. So there's a Flex Connect platform. The link is there. Anyone who wants to join the link can just click on it and then we'll join the Flex Connect. And this material, the video, PowerPoint will all be shared there. So, Yate, your hand was off, it's back on. So we'll take Yate very quickly and then Paulina, let's keep it very brief so we can wrap up. Yate, very
Okay,
quickly.
hello.
Yes, go ahead.
Good evening once again. Host and Mr. Sani, thank you for organizing this thing for us. We really appreciate it. Well, quick one. I think my question is, I have some money in my account that is savings, and I want to invest into it as something like passive investment. I want to advise me which investment is currently good now. That's my question. Or which investment will you recommend me to start first? Anyway, thank you very much.
Okay, so it's a good thing you have not asked of a business, but since you are talking of an investment, if you are talking of a passive investment that you can, an index fund is the best that you can do if you are looking for a passive investment, because an index fund is safe, it is passive, and then also the reason why it is safe is that it is all the stocks on the stock exchange market combined. That means that instead of you taking a bet on one stock, you are going to take a bet on all the stocks of the entire stock exchange market. You understand? So it's unlikely that everything will fail. That means that you are investing in every business in the world. Okay, I mean,
Okay.
every business that is on the stock exchange market. So if it's something that you are looking very passive, that one is a safe bet because it is relatively safer. It is unlikely. Every investment has a risk, but it is unlikely that you lose 100% of your money. It's unlikely that you lose your money, but it just you can't guarantee for anything. But it's one of the safest, most reasonable investments that you can, you can invest in an index fund. So you can look it up and maybe learn more about an index fund. Perhaps you could consider that.
Okay. Thank you very much. Maybe next time I'll contact you for further clarification.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you very much. So, Paulina.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity.
You're welcome.
Much for the financial literacy. So I have started a very small business. I started from pure water, and from the house, I have a little shop in my house. I started from pure water because I have some children with challenges. It's not okay, and it's not feasible for me to work in the corporate world. And there's this thing within me that still thinks I'm not doing what I'm being called to do. So I've now, even with the pure water, I've added the provisions. From the pure water sales, I sell, and whatever I sell, I save from it, so I don't have any bank account. Whatever I sell, I put it back into the business. So at the end of each month, I break the books. Whatever I made, I buy a little more of what I have, and that is what I've been doing. And it's okay at the moment. It's moving well. But I've decided to go into content creation, specifically to be a professional MC. And so I started into content creation because I know and I get a lot of commendation from people when I speak, how I articulate myself and all that. But with all this coca, I'm asking, am I doing something right? Because I don't have any bank accounts, and I'm doing like 2 things at the moment. Content
Three,
creation.
actually, you are doing 3 things.
3, yes.
Yeah.
Being a mother, managing the shop at home, and still studying and trying to make a very good content creator. Am I really doing something that is sound?
Well, I wouldn't recommend what you are doing, but I don't know how you feel about it. I don't know how it's working out for you, but I normally wouldn't recommend what you are doing. If you were in pure water business and that pure water business did well, and you had to create a provision shop, why not concentrate on the pure water business that has made you so much money for you to even think of, investing in a shop? Why don't you concentrate on the pure water?
It's not so much because the economy is not allowing it to grow that fast.
Yeah. So which one is more profitable, the pure water or the?
Oh, both are doing well, because with the pure water, people come and ask, do you have this and all that? So I normally add up to what people ask for. What people ask for is what I add to. And the content creation I'm talking about is because I feel fulfilled in letting my voice heard in the world.
Yeah. So right now, the best financial advice for you, frankly, is whatever works for you. My recommendation is that you do the most profitable of the 3, but you know what you feel. And the best financial advice, frankly, that anybody will give you is what works for you, provided it works. Provided you are not lying to yourself that it works and it actually works and it's actually making you money. If it's making you money, it's making you grow, you are growing in that business and you feel okay about it. After all, that's what it comes down to. Something that works. That is the best financial literacy lesson you will ever get anywhere. Something that works. If it works for you, that is fine, but I wouldn't recommend it.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much.
You are welcome, madam.
Right. Thank you very much. So Paulina's was supposed to be the last one, but I think there's someone who seemed to have he's suggesting that you want to have a question that I didn't call him. I didn't see his hand up. Is it Ado? Try to please yeah, Michael. Michael, please go ahead. We'll take yours as a final question.
Okay, thank you very much.
Welcome, sir.
Michael, please unmute yourself and carry on.
Hello?
Yes,
hello.
Michael, please go ahead. We can hear you.
Thank you very much for this opportunity. My question is, I started a transport business this year, and by God's grace, everything is moving on. And I am thinking of expansion. So I decided I'm thinking of something like going for a loan. So I just wanted to know, is it advisable or is it not too early for me to go for a loan for something like that? That is what I need a little bit of advice from that.
I personally don't recommend a loan in everything. And it's just something that I advise even myself. I don't know how it's working out for you, but I personally don't recommend a loan. And most of the time you are taking a loan because you want to grow your business. And is it that the business is suffering? Is it making enough money? If it's making enough money and it is good, is it even profitable? Because I assume that you would have been borrowing money to invest in that business because it is profitable. If it is not profitable, why do you want to continue injecting money into something that is not profitable? Like I did with my loans business, which wasn't, it was profitable at some point, and I injected more money in it when it started to have problems, and I suffered for it. But if your business is already making profit, it means that today, as your business stands, is better than it was yesterday. And if you can go on that same trajectory, it means eventually you are going to you are going to be extremely wealthy beyond your imagination. So I personally wouldn't understand the motive of going for a loan when you are not in a position that is bad. You are already in a good place. You are winning. There's a lot of uncertainty. You don't know where everything is going. COVID could, I don't know. I don't want to be to somebody to discover. But what I tell myself, why I wouldn't want to grow my business with a loan is that I'm saying that the reason I would want a loan to grow my business is because the business is already doing well. If the business is already doing well, then I'm fine. Because you are not, you are looking at money. You want to grow it because of money. But at the same time, you have to know that the minute that you start taking loans, you have introduced something else into your business. It means that your peace of mind, for something that is already working well anyway, right? For people to chase you around for money and what have you, for something that is working already anyway. And businesses have risk. There's risk in business. Businesses, get involved in business accidents. So God forbid something happens, then you lose your money. You lose, money you didn't need. For a business that you risk money that you didn't need, that you actually had to go get, for a business that you actually, so it's, I just personally don't recommend it. I don't recommend it, but I don't know.
Well, yes. So you would want to take a gradual growth of your business rather than, get yourself into debt, trying to expand too quickly.
Exactly. Especially if the business is already doing well. You have no excuse to go and take, except that for the fact that you want to grow your business. But if your business is growing already, it means that it's on the positive trajectory. Eventually, it is going to get wherever you want it.
Yeah.
All right.
Hello.
Thank you.
Wow.
Yes, I just
So
want to
we should be wrapping up, Mr. Yate. Sure you've heard your, but okay, if it's a
I
quick
just want
one,
to make
please
a
go ahead
quick
very quickly
submission.
because we should be wrapping up. Yes.
A quick submission. And myself, I was listening to the guys talking now. I think the advice Mr. Sani is giving, you should take the same thing. I did that thing myself. I started some poultry business, and it rather launched me into a debt.
So currently I'm paying debt, but I'm trying to do that. Is why I came to speak slightly on the investment, so that I'll be accumulating some funds on my own. If I know I have this, I can quickly start it again myself. So I just want to say something to confirm what our brother is saying. I shouldn't try that. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that intervention. Thank you so much. So let's be wrapping up. It's been a fantastic evening. We've taken a lot longer than we thought it would take, and we've taken much more of your time, Stanley, than we thought we would. We appreciate you spending your Sunday evening with us. That's this precious time everybody wants to spend with their family, just spend it with us. We truly, truly appreciate that. So kindly give us your closing remarks. But before you do that, let me once again say a big, big thank you. This has been this has been one of the most insightful sessions that we've had on First Connect. We can't wait to have you again. We'll take that offline and discuss it further. I would definitely want to have you come back and continue with this kind of teaching. We do need it. Everyone needs it. Businesses need it. Politicians will need it. And everyone, individuals, will need this kind of teaching. So thank you so much. So your closing remarks, please.
Thank you. So first of all, I want to thank everyone for taking their time to think that this message is worth listening to. I appreciate you also for giving me the platform. Like I said, apart from my social media handles where I spread my message, this is the very first time that I've had the opportunity to reach out to other people, on a different platform. So first of all, I say very thank you, and I continue to reiterate the message that financial literacy is very important and that we should all take it seriously because it has changed my life. It's not something that I should pride myself, but since I came out of the university, because of the knowledge that I amassed on the side, learning about financial literacy, I have come out of a lot of difficulties because of that knowledge. And I believe that what we learn every single day, how much we educate ourselves, is more important to us as a youth than anything that is going to happen in any kind of election. So I think that the things that we should take more seriously is our financial literacy, because it's going to do way much, it's going to do a lot of things for us than other things that we take very, very, very seriously. So that is just what I wanted to add to everybody else.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. So just before we go, just be reminded the next First Connect series is on the 24th of November. Further details will come. Please feel free share the link that I have already put on the platform. That's the First Connect platform. Useful materials, teaching materials. The video from this session, as well as the PowerPoint and other materials that Mr. Sani wishes to share with us, will be put on that platform. So you can just click on the link and join. So I would just want to say a big, big thank you for spending your Sunday evening with us. It's I know it's precious time that you share with us. That means that you value the knowledge, you value the lessons learned, and I believe that's going to change your life. Mr. Sani, once again, God richly bless you for being with us, and look forward to having you again. God bless all of you.
Thank you very much.